Yep. Oh. Ding ding, let's go. I noticed that I do pretty much the same thing in every video. Just clear the throat. Ding ding, let's go. Alright, so self-talk. The mind is going on all of the time. Are you listening? Or how much are you listening? How much are you aware of how you're talking to yourself? And, it's a matter of how proud you are of your self-talk, or how ashamed you are of your self-talk. Are you in moments, in situations where you're trash talking, you're bad talking yourself because something happened that, you wish happened another way, and you're like, you this, you that. I can't believe that you did that. I can't believe that this is happening. Like, why did I do this? Or why am I thinking this? And going to moments of shame and guilt where we're not alive for very long. I can speak somewhat to the notion of life has a tendency of slipping away from you. I'm in my early 30s. I'll be in my mid 30s soon enough. And if you're older, 40 plus, you're even more aware of this notion of life has a tendency of slipping away from you. Like that Steve Miller song, time keeps on slipping into the future. Time keeps happening. Life is short. In my one of my notions of high impact, I think I called it. Life is too short to be a bee. You know what I mean when I mean bee? Because I'm trying to make this content, without cussing, without swearing, whatever. Because, the argument is, that's just how I talk. That's just how I like to express myself, how I like to flavor the conversation, the topic at hand. So I'm making it essentially an effort, a gusto goal, if you will, to do my best to express myself without cussing, even though I'm definitely in the camp of, if you're offended by cussing, that's just something you need to look at and you need to perhaps work through, because words are just words. And that goes in line with the topic at hand, which is the amount of being affected by words. So there's the how do you talk to yourself, and then in similar fashion, how affected by words are you? Because you can find that you're trash talking yourself, but you can get to a point where you have this split second moment where you catch yourself trash talking yourself, and then you can laugh it off. You can be like, yeah, but life is good. I'm cool with myself. I love and care about myself, so whatever. It's fine. It really is. And when we get to a point where we're speaking to ourselves nicely, it goes in line with the concept of the inner child. The inner child being synonymous with the heart and soul, where the heart and soul, the inner child, wants to be listened to, wants to be treated with respect, with kindness, with softness, tenderness. And I love the concept, of the inner child, where it feels so right and true that we treat ourselves, the most internal aspect of ourselves, like our child, like the 3, 4, 5-year-old version of ourselves, where, we want to be playful and creative and spontaneous and fun and funny and share the joy that we have within ourselves. But if we think that we're not a good person, right, going in line with self-esteem, self-care, self-worth, and feel free to give yourself a number from 0 to 10. Like, what do you feel like your self-esteem, self-worth, self-confidence, will to live is on a scale from 1 to 10? And it fluctuates naturally, but if it's not really 7 plus on any given day, right, just a natural standard, natural baseline, then we would be wise in looking at that. What makes us think and feel like we're not worthy, like we don't have a strong, sturdy will, and strong and sturdy will to live? And feel free to, in meditation, contemplation, I don't really like the word meditation, but in terms of quietude, stillness, of minimal stimulus, to just like sit with yourself and to feel this out, to think this out. Where are the places and spaces where we feel like we're not good enough, or that life is not that good? And yeah, sometimes it's environmental stuff and work life, home life, relationships, family, friend, work, etc., where we feel like we're boxed in, we gotta make payroll, or we gotta support the family, support the self, and I need this job even though I hate it, etc., etc. Well, like I've said, and just the general concept of life is short. Can you make moves here and there, little bits and pieces, baby steps along the way, where you can either make your job life, your work life balance, your family friend life, where you can make little moves here and there to make your life better. It makes me think of this concept. This was like, a screenshot of maybe like a Reddit post where someone said something like, a professor gave me this idea of, what if I lived my life like a benevolent alien, where I was just so curious, enthralled, interested by even just the little things in life, and life becomes more vivid and joyful as a result, because I'm able to see things with fresh eyes, with new eyes, a just general curiosity throughout the day and every day. So this concept of fresh eyes, new eyes, that can go in line with the concept of how we view ourselves, how we talk to ourselves, because we don't have to be so entrenched with our past and our wants, our desires for our future. We don't have to be so bogged down by the past and our visions of the future, because today is a fresh day. Right now is a fresh now. Working with children throughout the years, and in this school year working with kindergartners specifically, this concept comes into line often, essentially daily, when a child is having a bad day or they're in a certain type of mood, they're acting a certain way, and we tell them and we remind them, as we also remind ourselves, that, look, you were doing this, you were feeling this way, you were acting this way, but right now, it's a fresh start. Right now, we get to try again. So in working with ourselves at the inner child, heart and soul level and beyond, every moment, every now is a fresh start. Right here, right now, we get to try again. Right here, right now is a fresh start. The past is the past. The real power is in the now. Like Eckhart Tolle says, and so many other spiritual thought leaders per se, but it's so true. The now is the now, here and now. I, in terms of speaking to ourselves, the inner child, addressing our thoughts that may be less than benevolent, less than tender and consoling. Okay, I'm seeing that for what it is, mentally, emotionally, neutrally. Let's just see it. Okay, well, now is now, here is here. I get a fresh start. I get to try again. And this is a matter of working in time. I've talked in other videos about the beauty of timelessness, but if we're working in time, then it just is what it is. But like getting better at a sport, this here, now, just life in general, however many decades you're going to be alive, this is the sport of life. And if you want to get better and better with your batting average, better and better with your life stats, you got to work at it. And, you know, I've been working at this intentionally, just being in the spiritual, psychological, existential, intentional journey of clarifying and expanding the self at the heart and soul level and beyond. Yeah, it was a little gross to see what I was thinking about myself, how I was talking to myself. And 12 plus years later, I'm still finding moments and places and spaces where I'm like, yeah, those thoughts, those feelings aren't helpful, but okay. I'm going to sharpen the sword. I'm going to clarify the vessel and expand it. Like I talked in my, I think it was the most previous video, about fidelity and bit rate, where I want to increase my fidelity, just my clarity, the pristineness of the signal, and then I want to expand. I want to widen the pipe of the information that's coming through. And yeah, it becomes more to work with, but at the same time, we become more and more efficient at the clarifying, and more efficient at expanding. More information, more bits per second, and we're quicker and quicker, like raising the stats in the sport of life. You become more and more world class at being a human. It makes me think about Kapil Gupta, Kapilgupta. One of his cornerstone concepts, because he is a sort of a life coach for top performers and top achievers in sports, in business, and anything else. And it's this concept of, okay, you want to be world class. Well, let's clarify and expand who you are, what you are, how you're getting things done in your sport, in your business, whatever, so that you can cut out the nonsense and be more attuned, be more focused, be more efficient with who you are at the heart and soul level and everything that you're doing to be world class, where people don't even come close to your genre at hand, sports, business, and beyond, because it starts at the individual, at the I, at the heart and soul level. Because, like I've expressed in this video and other videos, if you're not good with you, why would you ever expect to be good? I'll think of another term, but if you're not good with you, why would you expect to be good in other areas of your life? Mental, emotional, physical, bodies, layers, and in your environment, relationships, jobs, business, your just general stats. It starts right here. It starts right here. So yeah, plenty to encompass, plenty to think about, feel about, do about. So check it out. As I like to end all videos with respects, much respect to you, much respect to us, to the extent that we work with all of these layers, the heart and soul, the mind, the emotions, the body, and then everything beyond in the physical. Your relationships, your environment. Much respect to Earth, all of the elements, physical and non-physical, that keep us alive, right? And even though I didn't express it much in this video, I like to imbue explicitly and implicitly this concept of God, the cosmos, the universe, whatever you want to call it, the Tao, the ether, that's the stuff that's keeping us alive. What is keeping our heart beating? What is keeping our atoms and molecules in consistent agreement to even stay together, right? There's a gravity involved that's keeping this all together in the layers of self, in the layers of our surroundings on Earth, the atmosphere, the planetary bodies, and beyond. Much respect to all of that. Woo! Respect. All right, this is Mr. Mike. Catch you later.